The Chicago Bears just made a really nice addition to this team and also another addition, but it was by subtraction. And you can say a little too late, but the Chicago Bears are finally doing some work on this offensive line. And the addition by subtraction part, I'd say that's with Nate Davis. And also working on the center position, it's officially begun today with a really nice signing, Ricky Stromberg. This guy was a top prospect coming out of the 2023 NFL draft, and circumstances have kind of worked out just perfectly that we are able to pick him up. Very low risk, but this could have a lot of upside here. So the Bears cut Nate Davis finally. This was a long time coming. And Davis, at 28 years old, he is now subject to waivers. So the good part of this, any team that claims the offensive lineman, they're responsible for paying the remaining $3.9 million Davis is due in fully guaranteed salary. The money from this debacle can still maybe kind of get comped, but regardless, maybe there's a new signal to the team that's going out. You're either all in, you're either going to work hard, you're either going to go all out or hit the bricks. So looking at Davis, he was a late addition to the injury report ahead of this last game against the Patriots. He reported back tightness to team trainers on Sunday morning. I think this guy just doesn't like to practice. He just doesn't work. So he was ruled out and sent home because we don't want a guy standing on 2 feet with a back issue. And that's what Coach Matt Eberflus said. So he wasn't on the injury report, though, during Chicago's week of practice ahead of that game. I think this was just a planned move, and the cancer on this line has officially been removed. It's possibly the scheme might actually improve because now we have a newly promoted offensive coordinator in Thomas Brown. And reports are the players absolutely love this guy, and he's a guy that demands performance, but he also gets down in the trenches. He's super involved in the execution. I'll profile him this week, but this might turn out to be a really good thing. And there's an NFLPA survey taken last year, and Coach Brown, he was the number 2 offensive coach that players wanted to play for in the whole NFL. So take with that what you will, but that's actually a positive. So Davis's time in Chicago to button this up, it didn't meet the expectations of the team. He signed to a 3-year, $30 million contract in March 2023. And more than half of this deal, $19.25 million, is guaranteed, and that's almost all paid out. Started 13 games in 2 seasons, including the first 2 games of this last year, but then he was benched. He was replaced by Matt Pryor, who was actually a net positive, if you can believe it. Then Davis was a healthy scratch against Jacksonville and Washington, and that's even with a really banged up Chicago Bears line. And you're looking at this guy in total appearing in 16 games over 2 seasons with us. Former 3rd-round pick, spent his first 4 NFL seasons in Tennessee. So, okay, this is now over. We no longer have to talk about Nate Davis. So let's move forward. Let's talk about some additions to the team. Jake Curran, he was just signed to the active roster now. And if you know about him, he was an offseason signing, landed on the practice squad, didn't quite make it onto the week 1 roster, but now he is officially on the active roster. All sorts of needs up and down this Chicago Bears offensive line, so he is welcome. We just need all the help that we can get. In this current move, there's not another transaction needed. This is a corresponding move with the Davis release, so we're all good. Let's get to what's really interesting here, and that's the signing of offensive lineman Ricky Stromberg. And if you look at Ricky Stromberg, he isn't just a dude. He was previously a top prospect, so let's kind of dig in here. So he was a Washington Commanders 3rd-round pick, 97th overall in the 2023 NFL Draft. He's from the University of Arkansas, and he was projected as one of the top interior offensive line prospects in this draft class. He ranked as the number 4 center on the BN composite rankings. I'm going to go to this story on Bleacher Nation. You guys can read through these prospects of this draft in its entirety. But if you look here, Ricky was the number 4 prospect at center in that draft. So he's no stranger to the Bears either. He was actually brought in for a top 30 visit before the draft. this staff should really know the book on him. So let's kind of look at him a little closer. His upside, it far exceeds that of most practice squad players that you would get. He was a third round pick in the 2023 NFL draft by the Commanders. And as a rookie, he only ended up playing 4 games. He only accumulated 26 snaps, and that ended because he suffered a knee injury almost immediately in his rookie season. It required surgery. And then before the 2024 season, he got waived by the Commanders, and his injury required another surgery. And this status, sometimes players just get caught up when a team is being overhauled. The Commanders' coaching staff, the ownership, everything, all the management staff turned over. And sometimes players like Ricky, they just get passed over, they get released. So this injury might have depleted his initial upside, but the Bears are in a position that we can take advantage of that. So we're looking at if Stromberg can make a full recovery, which it looks like he's going to, the Bears might have found themselves a quality developmental center. I want to just let the source tell us about him here. And this is what NFL media draft analyst Lance Zierlein had to say about Stromberg going into this draft. So I'm just going to read from it. A center prospect with enough athleticism and strength to be considered scheme independent. Early impressions can leave evaluators unimpressed with his lack of control at times, but his process and results, they should quickly grow on them. Stromberg generates decent movement at the point of attack and is well schooled with landmarks as a zone blocker. Great waist bend. It causes inconsistencies with his mirror and recoveries and protection, though. He has an innate feel for angles and positioning, and that leads to some unexpected blocking wins. So we're looking at Stromberg having a chance to become a starting center with the flexibility to play guard if needed. And once again, that overall overarching theme with the Bears, flexibility on the offensive line. But this move, if you're looking at it, it feels late in the season. The line has been a mess for a really long time, but Stromberg had the procedure on his knee back in September, and the recovery time is typically about 8 weeks on that second surgery. So the Bears went out and got him, and he's going to begin his tenure here on this practice squad. But the only positive is this. The record, what the Chicago Bears finish with as far as record, that's no longer material. The emphasis, it needs to be on developing players like this guy, finding out what we have and not the result we all wanted, right? But there's also a benefit to this. So the development of Caleb Williams, that needs to be the ultimate priority here. And getting this offensive line fixed, that goes hand in hand with that. So Stromberg, he's going to need some time to get up to speed, hopefully very quickly. But I expect him to eventually push for playing time behind Coleman Shelton, possibly Bates, and even like compete with Kramer as far as with his swing role. So that's all I got to say about this. It is kind of addition through subtraction. It's great to see the Nate Davis drama come to an end. It's good to welcome Stromberg onto this squad and also bring up Jake Curran. I'm going to be keeping you abreast during the week of these offensive line injuries. And if we can get these guys fully back healthy, we can actually have a reset squad to face the Green Bay Packers. And hey, anything can happen. I want to see if Thomas Brown is a real deal and if these players will buy in after this kind of ridiculous time in the season. You guys let me know what you think. Bear down, and we'll talk soon. See you.